Oh, there we are. We are here playing Alien tonight. Adventures Lollygagging friends. Hopefully, you can hear us. We've got a new character tonight with two whole arms. We'll see if we can do something about that before the end of the night. But we got a full crew back after last time where we kind of split off and did a few other different things. Yeah, looking forward to getting back to this and seeing if we can get off the moon tonight. Matt was trying to remember what his previous character's name was, and we have a new one now. So we'll have to hear about the new character as well. Before we get going, let's just do some plugs and introductions and stuff. So everyone, there it is, Chuck. Old Matty Two Arms. It's my favorite command in chat. So let's just go ahead and go through, give the roundup. Just say who you are, who you're playing, something about your character, and if you have stuff to plug that you're doing this week or whatever, go ahead and do so. So, Melissa, you're up.
Oh goodness, I'm first. Okay. So I'm Melissa with Adventures in Lollygagging. We are here every other Monday. On the other Mondays, we have just started out Ultraviolet Grasslands. So come check that out. We are just at the beginning. On Fridays, we do Delta Green. On Saturdays, we do Worlds Without Number. I'm in charge this chapter. I am Master Sergeant Margot Barrett.
You can hear the confidence coming out of her voice right there when she said that. Yeah.
Yes, I'm in charge. Yeah, I have short brunette hair and an eye patch, and I smoke cigars. And I used to be a CBRN specialist before I was in charge. That's me.
Very true. Very true. All those things are true. And you collect dog tags, you said?
I do. That was my my item is that I have dog tags for fallen Marines.
Yeah. Which is why you said you're carrying hutches, because apparently we learned in the preamble as the apparently Barrett went and just took him out, just mercy killed and took his dog tag. There we go, just to make a point.
Up at some point, and yeah, sort of forgot all of this. So it's been a long 2 weeks.
We've got no use for you anymore. Let's give it a go at Chuck. Who are you?
Oh my gosh, I'm Chuck. I run Defenders of Cobalt. This week we got some Pathfinder and some D&D and some 3-2-1 action and some Forbidden Lands. Yeah, that's what we got. I am playing Staff Sergeant Eric Koenig, our dedicated marksman. And throughout the night, I would like to tell you about my ex-wife. There we go.
There you go. Also, you're dying.
I'm dying.
Well. Yeah.
I had my guts punched out and then stapled back in. And yes, a long, slow, painful death.
Yeah. Yeah. Sepsis, basically, is what's happening.
Yeah.
I think after Matt, you missed this, Jenny, you missed this. We went back and looked at the injury he got, which actually might be worse than Matt's, because Matt's you at least get to survive. Over the course of the next couple of shifts, it's not going to be good for Koenig. He has to basically make a sickness roll, like a disease test at the start of every shift. I'll go back and check the rolls if it's the start or the end. But and he can't recover damage. So if he takes damage and he gets broken,
can't go back up.
Terrible. Yeah, it's
game
terrible.
Over, man.
Doesn't look good. And that voice is Jen.
Oh,
Hi,
hey,
Jen.
everybody. I'm Jen. I have a Twitch channel called Pixel Prowler where we do video games with the Grim and Perilous crew. I also play some video games by myself. Hopefully, eventually, we'll be doing some role-playing games on there. We'll see. But we'll be on tomorrow night for a double stream. And tonight, I'm playing Sergeant Zoe Ripper. She's
Comtech specialist. Yeah. So the three people you see at the top of the screen, Barrett, Koenig, and Ripper, are all like in charge in that order. So I've laid everything out based in the relative order of their rank. Gonna have to change. I mean, I didn't have to change Matt's at all because he's still a corporal. But once Koenig drops, I might have to shift everyone up. I don't know. I'll have to figure out something. We'll see how it goes. But bottom row, we've got Adam.
Hi. Madam, I'm with Grim and Perilous Studios. We just recently put out a new ancestry for Zweihander RPG. It's called the Cambion. Myself and Jen and Jeremy all worked on it. We're pretty proud of it. So if you wanted to play someone that was part demon, in Zweihander, go ahead and check out the link below. Normally I'm playing Abbott, but tonight I'll be playing Eurydice Ellsworth, or as she puts it, Eurydice Ellsworth. And so I'll be taking on that role because Abbott got blown up and he's being repaired right now.
Yes, he did. We do have to slightly retcon some of that as Jeff got a roll wrong. It was one of those situations where I saw damage or blast power 9. Like, you took 9 damage and forgot that you actually roll 9 dice to see if you take damage. So he took far less damage. So Abbott is okay. He's just not currently with the group.
Nothing
but you always have the 2 to pick between whenever you feel like it. You can kind of switch between them. And then we've got Matt playing a brand new character already.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back with a new character. Hey, the other one's not dead. Melissa's a little anxious there. You know, like you just saw in chat there, she cheats at board games. She cheats at Alien. It's all the same. It's okay. I get it. But yeah, I'm back with a new character. I'm playing another Forward Observer. I'm playing Donald Spuds McKenzie. And he's going to be keeping an eye out for all the rest of these Marines. And you can find me a couple places throughout the week. You can find me tomorrow night on Garblight Games at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I'm running Masks and Irelith Otep. We're doing that. Jeff's over there in that. Tuesday night, we'll do the same way. Blades? ? On Thursday nights. It's going to be coming to an end right away. Anyways, we've got a game. It's going to be replacing it on another channel. And Sunday nights on Free League, Alien. More Alien Frontier War. We're making our way through that.
All right. Yeah. Blades in the Dark. Hopefully, because I actually haven't got to play yet.
Oh, yeah,
we did like the creating thing, and then everything was switching around. So yeah, hopefully get
old Matty 2 arms, Melissa, not Matt.
Well, there is a Matt, but it's kill Matt first.
And it didn't work.
Interesting. I don't know. We broke Nightbot, but there
it's
it
probably
is.
on a timeout. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's probably because Nightbot knows Melissa cheats and doesn't want her to have happiness, so just took it away. And then speaking of happiness, Jeremy, how's it going, man?
Well, I'm happy because I get to play games with you guys all week, and that's amazing. I'm playing Heckler, AW Claymore. I'm here to tell you, hear me now, believe me now, believe me later. Master Sergeant Baird is the best commanding officer this group would ever see. I'm here to make sure Mom Bear gets everything she needs.
That's a great voice. Like, I feel like I'm never gonna kill Claymore just because of the voice. I'm just gonna pull every punch on Claymore whatsoever. Just
the
so
dice will do it.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and Black Blizzard's still going on, I think, right?
That's true. Black Blizzard, Occult Mystery on Kickstarter, independent comic fun.
All right. Well, I guess that's about it. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next. No, we should start, and I should give a little rundown of where we've been going. So, all right. For the players, I did this, but if you check the player notes, chapter 3 folder, there's that mission briefing that I did the first step. And then I went ahead and I delineated a little bit more into mission objectives. So if you ever are wondering, why are you here and what are you supposed to be doing? There are your objectives. So basically you've been tasked with sort of 3 things. You are a special, kind of a special forces crew that you are called the Hammerheads. You are on board the Chum Bucket. These are their selected names, not mine. And you've been tasked by General Reddick from Marine Space Force Eridani to head to this Hyperdyne-controlled moon that has been reported as having some synthetic trouble, and a larger Marine ship was already sent here. A garrison at a Anchor Point station filled with 40 Marines and Colonial Marshals was sent to handle this, and they are overdue. There's no sign of them. There's no signal. It's like a black hole of communication. Nothing's coming out. Nothing's going into this moon area. And so your job has been to head there, ascertain whether or not synthetics do in fact control this factory moon, or if these reports are overblown. You're supposed to regain control of the moon and trying to do as minimal damage to the infrastructure of the factory as possible, though you're welcome to destroy the synthetics or artificial persons, as they're sometimes called, as you can. You're also looking to locate and recover the USS Asteria, which is a a very, very expensive offensive, powerful ship, and there's about 40 different people on it between the marshals, the Marines, and the various support staff. They're a Bougainville-class attack transport that has gone missing, apparently, and its last known whereabouts were here. This is where they were being sent, and no one's heard from them. And then the third thing, this is sort of other kind of on the side objective that you had, was to access Hyperdyne's secure databases to see if you can collect any information on whatever sneaky little programs they have going on here, synthetics programs that might not be known to the public. You have an intelligence officer that's been assigned to you as well, has thus far been remaining on ship, but they're there to help you kind of dig through some of that intelligence and make some sort of conclusions, and also has the authority to sort of change the mission if necessary. So last episode specifically, Corporal Hutch, after getting his arm ripped off, was sedated and treated by Abbott and then left in the medical facility. Officer Ellis, the pilot, and originally Chief Ellsworth stayed in the ship while I think it was Ripper and Spuds took the gyro car to go do some scouting, and the rest of the crew took the ATV and headed towards the central compound. I'm going to go ahead and throw us on the big screen map as well. So the main crew took the ATV and headed to the compound, and when they tried to get inside, a little mine exploded and severely damaged Abbott, who was taken back to the ship for repairs. Eurydice, she joined it, or Eurydice, she joined the crew to help with disposing of ordnance. You all made it into the compound. You found the bodies of multiple Marines from a group called the Hell Riders, which are known to be on Anchor Point Station's garrison. So presumably they were on the Asteria when it came here. Also, you've been encountering several synthetics who are using high-class weaponry, actual like colonial Marine weaponry, including a sniper on the top of the compound that you all took out pretty easily. And as you were exploring the compound and clearing it of some sort of aggressive synthetics, two interesting things happened. One, you managed to get into looked like some kind of server room and collected a series of hard drives. And you also discovered 4 survivors, 2 of whom the players would know. One, Bud McCall, who is a captain of a commercial transport vessel, the Cleety Sinum, claims to be anyway, and a woman by the name of Hazel, who was a pilot for another commercial vessel called the Radamanthus, and then 2 other people that no one really cares about because they don't have names. So, at the very, very end of the episode, Barrett, you got a message on the comm saying that there was that as Ripper and Spuds were scouting around, they discovered some stuff going down at the factory. And so now we're at a point where you all can kind of tell me how you want to handle this, because you're all completely separated. The last you've heard from Spuds and Ripper is they were kind of north towards the factory somewhere, whereas you all were down here by the compound. And you all have 4 civilians in tow now, those of you that are in the compound. So walk me through how you want to handle this.
Okay,
Maybe go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to verify. So the message that we got is that they are at the factory.
Yeah. So basically,
They're
it was
in the compound. Okay.
the general sentiment was that they saw something of interest, and we'll do a retroactive roll for it in a minute. But just give me an idea of how do we want to group folks together? Like, how do we want to move forward? Like, what do you want to do with the civilians? What do you want to do with the split squads?
It may not be a terrible idea to have everyone reconvene at the ship. We need to hand that drive over to the intelligence officer, drop off the civilians. We all meet back up and go for a nice leisurely drive over to the factory, because we've pretty much cleared out the compound. So
Yeah, you feel confident of that. Yeah.
yeah,
That makes sense to me.
I mean,
They'll radio back to Spuds and Ripper. Let's meet back at the ship, and then we'll all go together.
Okay. So the ship, just to catch up Jen and Matt, they landed over by Pad C. There were looked to have been some damage to some of the other pads, and it looks like there were some mines and some other IEDs and stuff that have been left in the wake here and there. So you would know exactly how to get there, but I mean your characters would, just so you all know.
And there's also a sniper somewhere.
There was a sniper on top of the compound, but you all took that one out.
Yeah.
So then,
It's Slam Blam, and I helped.
Oh, yes,
Slam,
that's
slam.
right.
yes, you did.
Delightful.
So here's what we'll do as everyone's eventually traveling back to the ship. Ripper and Spuds. We'll treat this almost like a mini flashback here. Why don't the two of you give me observation tests, and we'll add up your successes, and based upon how much you have, I'll give you some information from your time scouting around. So that's 2 and 2. So we should 4 total. Unless either of you wanted to push. No. Okay. All right.
Nope.
Okay. So I'll give you 4 pieces of information as you're scouting around. You would already know that there are a handful of locations that are of import. One was the compound. One was the factory. There was a refinery that when you were coming down, visibility is very, very low. Think of Aliens, the second Alien movie, where they were coming back to the planet, and how dark and kind of dreary and almost misty it was. It's kind of the same feel for this planet or this moon. And you were able to on the fly down to see that the refinery had suffered some significant damage, and you were also able to identify that there was some kind of signal tower that was built and was not on the plans that you all had for the Hyperdyne settlement. It was built atop a mountain above the refinery. Now, the two of you are basically just scouting about in the gyro car, which has some verticality to it, but you probably weren't doing too much, else you give away position. But you found a few things, specifically as you went over towards the factory. There have been 2 models of synthetics that you all have seen so far, the Paul and the Polly. And you noticed that there were several of these models that were in activity around the factory itself. You also notice that the factory seemed to be functioning. I mean, you saw the various exhaust fumes and stuff billowing out of the places that it should were this operational. So the idea being that they're still producing something there, and this is a synthetics, and this is like a synthetic production factory site. So that's what you would probably think. You notice that there was a large landing area on the sort of that would meet the second level, and it seemed to connect to this hangar. This is likely big enough for that orbital lifter that you all fought on up in space. Could probably land here and even probably gain access to the factory if necessary. You notice that there were a few smaller emergency entrances and exits in various places on exterior walkways and things around the factory, but there is also significant surveillance cameras that seem to be active as well. So you kept your distance, didn't get too close. You noticed that there were multiple hatches along the way on the ground that would lead to the maintenance tunnels that were wired with explosives. Ripper, why don't you roll a Comtech really quick? Okay. With 1 success, you were probably able to carefully unhinge one and take a peek down into the maintenance tunnel, which had suffered some damage, but you did notice that there are 2 sub-level entrances into the factory as well. So there's 2 large factory entrances. And then the last thing you get is that you saw up on a ridge somewhere, you would say it looks like northwest of the factory, west-northwest of the factory, you saw a fairly large kind of bonfire that was going off. And you saw what looked like an ATV driving up the ridgeline towards that bonfire at some point. So those are the things that the two of you would have gotten in your scouting trip.
Like a tractor
Uh,
vehicle?
roll a piloting test, Spuds.
Okay.
Okay. You would be able to recognize this as the exact same model that your other crew that Barrett is leading, that they're driving. like the
So
exact
this is
same model.
A design then, that means?
It is, yeah, it's the, trying to look it up. I think it's like the ZNR9 ATV, or no, NR9 ATV is what they're driving.
So in other words, not UPP. That's what I was
Not
wondering.
not UPP. No, this is a Wayland Yutani design ATV.
Okay. Sounds good.
So we'll go ahead. Fast forward. That's the phrase I was looking for and stumbling over. And everyone eventually makes it back to the chum bucket, safe and sound. You have 4 new faces, covered in blood, and a little bit shell shocked in some cases. 1 or 2 of them are a little bit more chatty than the others. But we'll go ahead and we'll move forward and say everyone's back on board the ship. Where do you go from here?
Well, that bonfire sounds interesting.
Yeah, and especially if there's a Wayland Yutani ATV headed in that direction.
Yeah. I mean, we got to be careful because we have seen the synths using the marine gear, but I don't know. Maybe we could get lucky and it's actually some of our own.
Maybe I've got kind of a dumb question. I'm sorry. The place you said that was still operational, is that the place where they make all of the bucket heads?
Yeah, that's a factory.
So maybe like we could discreetly tell somebody on our ship to just double check that maybe the people we're letting on there are people. I know it's paranoid, but they could be making new ones. Don't look like the others.
This
Definitely
sounds like a
instruct our
bit of a
medical staff to do some testing. Yuri?
this sounds like a bit of a conversation that's above my level. I just want to thank y'all for tagging me in. I wasn't going nowhere on here. Neither was the thing I was working on. That's the problem. I gotta make it go somewhere now. So catch y'all later.
All right, Slime and Bam forever. That was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it sure was.
Brilliant tactic. We'll have to write up some papers on that.
What?
Don't worry about it.
All right.
Thank you, Yuri.
You did good.
I'd like to. I'm assuming there's like a digital map or some kind of map that we can pull up of the area where I can mark some of the areas that you mentioned.
Yeah, it's
And,
it's effectively what I put up on this screen. You have like kind of a topographical layout of where everything is, the main
Perfect.
sites.
Where's the bonfire?
Bonfire, I'll ping it now, is just west of the
Ooh.
factory on a ridge above it.
It's right there.
At some point, we are going to need to check out that radio tower because that was not on the information that we had about this area, but that is very much in a different direction.
Oh yeah, that was the thing I found with the beep boops.
Yes, the beep boops, exactly.
Now, I'm
So-
just a lowly corporal, but how do you figure this ties into our mission if we go looking at fires and ATVs?
Well, we are supposed to be looking to see, what kind of survivors are down here, and try to find a way to kind of reclaim charge of this area. So I think getting to know our surroundings and who else is out there would be beneficial.
You say so, Captain.
So do we want to first check out the bonfire before we head over to the refinery and look at the radio tower?
I would vote for that.
Okay.
Has it been
so-
a shift?
So I'm afraid I think it's gonna have to be, since we did this where everyone's kind of coming back. I think we're gonna have to do another, and it's probably better that you do it now. While are you taking Abbott back out, Adam, or are you gonna stick with your Eurydice?
I'll let Master Sergeant Barrett decide on that because I can play either, honestly.
I noticed that in Zoom you're now Abbott, so I'm gonna
Oh,
go with
sure.
Abbott.
Also, you all can heal a point of stress as Captain Karine donated 100 bits for that. So if
Sweet.
you have stress, go ahead and heal one.
I do. Stress of being in charge.
Okay.
Greetings, everyone.
So
It's a pleasure to see that everyone made it back safely.
Glad to see you're looking better than we left you.
True.
Glad you're not disassembled.
Ah, I am pleased to hear that.
That's all you're getting.
That's all one could ever ask for.
beautiful, touching reunion. Unlike last time I saw my ex-wife, threw a shoe at me. Didn't even take the street out of it first. It was terrible.
But as you're watching Koenig talk, you see like blood just kind of kicks up in his mouth and sort of spills out the sides of it here and there. And he looks incredibly pale and sort of clammy and sweaty in a way that like they all look sweaty, but this is a little different. Like his complexion is clearly one that suggests he's not doing well.
So
You're manifesting signs that you're not doing well.
yeah, you wanna maybe see if you can patch me up a little bit more, maybe pack a little more gauze in there.
I do not believe that it would be just gauze that will do the trick. We must find a way to get rid of the infection.
Yeah, well, that would be good too, because I felt a lot better, and that was the day I signed some divorce papers. I gotta tell you.
Yes, that is unfortunate. However,
No,
you
it
did
wasn't.
survive your divorce. This, we need to make sure that you survive.
Yeah,
So-
well,
If the antibiotics won't work, then we will have to resort to good old-fashioned scraping.
all right. Well, I didn't know it was going to get romantic in here, but I'll take what I can get.
Very well.
All right, so you're doing your medical aid roll. You get your bonus because you have the facilities on the ship, but it does have a virulence of 6.
Yeah.
Oh my
For the
god.
rupture test, so you need 6.
How do you do that?
It's actually
Nasty.
rolled virulence.
Oh, am I doing this again? Oh,
Yes.
God. All right. Is it the from the very beginning? I'm
I'm
glad you looked that up.
I'm not worried about that though. It's what's done is done. But yeah,
Okay.
it's
There we go. I got no successes. So, yeah, I just rolled it now. So 66.
or
Okay.
maybe not. It does say against the virulence rating.
The virulence rating is 6. So I do think he actually needs. That's why I was thinking I think he
Okay,
needs
yeah,
6
you were
successes.
right in
Yeah,
this
you need-
instance. Yeah.
Yeah.
6 successes.
This is a death roll. I mean, like you got a death injury. It's just one that's slow. Like
Okay.
if you had like better medical facilities than just what's on board this ship, I'd probably give him a higher bonus. And if there were other people who had training in medicine, they would probably get an assist for that as well. And the other thing, the other downside is that since it's Abbott's doing it, there's no pushing. There's no like second roll to
Yeah.
add extra successes. It's the one downside of the synth.
So that would be a fail. So I now have 1 health.
Yep.
I'm doing great though. Listen, this ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna go till I can't go no more.
Well, we should give it some time, and perhaps give you a full proper treatment without you putting yourself at risk first. That would
Well,
be my suggestion.
I appreciate the sentiment, but we got shit to do. And one thing I learned after having to take care of that no good stepson of mine is, that shit ain't gonna clean itself up. So let's get back to work.
Okay. So where are you headed?
We're
I heard 2
headed
theories. One was the tower. One was the bonfire. So like, where are you all headed?
bonfire.
Bonfire?
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay.
The bushfire.
Going to the bushfire by the factory. All right. So you get in your now the ATV is big enough to fit everybody if you want to just fit everybody in there, or you can split up and put 2 people in the gyro car. But it's up to you all.
We've left orders with the remaining staff to make sure that the survivors get cleaned up and tested.
Okay.
You know what? It may not be a bad idea to take both vehicles. That way we got a couple open seats just in case we find more injured or survivors.
Am I the only one that wants to go to the tower?
We'll get there. Listen,
Koenig,
yeah.
might I recommend that for the remainder of this mission, you and I remain in close proximity.
You know what? I can live with that. You can hang out with Spud and I. Three
Darn
peas in a
tootin'.
pod.
Yeah. Hey, Abbott, good to see you back in one piece.
I'll
Yeah,
give or
the,
take.
Ah, yes. Spuds, as you are called. That is an interesting name. I've
Long
always
line
enjoyed
of
it.
tater farmers.
Listen, there's few
yes.
things I got respect for in this universe, but a good tater's one of them. That's why Spuds and I get along so well.
Darn tootin'.
Darn tootin'.
Is
Is
everyone
there enough
sufficiently-
room for a fourth pea in that pod?
Sure. You know, more the merrier. I was not necessarily my opinion of my marriage, but my wife had that idea, and that might be why things didn't work out.
That's too much information sometimes, you know.
Well, you know, shit happens.
That seems to be kind
Garrett
of the
will
main
sort of
point
look
of your
down
life.
at your intestines and say, like,
Well, not for me
"Indeed,
anymore.
It does.
It will if I can get this correct.
I
I'm,
have faith in you, buddy.
I am close.
Yeah. Well, Master Sergeant,
We
Why
appear to
don't
be
we,
loaded up
uh,
and ready to go.
let's
Okay.
make like a tree and get the fuck out of here.
Okay. So we'll say anybody who wants to make an observation test as you're kind of traveling there, you're welcome to. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you want to, you're welcome. But yeah, you get back in, you split up however you want the two vehicles to split up.
Already?
Oh, goodness. Did you heal your stress from when Karayan donated the...
I did.
I was
Okay.
at 3.
All right.
Oh my.
I got to roll.
And I am
And if
Don't
Okay.
forget you have the your little personal memento thingy that you can
Well,
always...
if a shift happened, wouldn't they have?
Yeah, shift would happen too. That's a good
Oh,
point.
okay.
Yeah. So down another.
So do I still need to seek cover?
No, not if you would have been at 0 at that point. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Okay. So a couple successes. All right. So as you're traveling towards the factory, you pass by the compound. You pass by a few of the in progress construction buildings that you all found the bodies of the Marines in. As far as I know, you left them there because you had to fetch your ATV on your way back. If you recall, you left your ATV in the tunnel and then you went down and got it on your way back to the ship. And you left those Marine bodies there. You travel a little bit further. So for those of you who hadn't yet gone to the factory, you do notice that there is kind of a very significant impact crater where it looks like some kind of massive explosion occurred. This is probably within about a mile, or actually probably less than that, about a half a mile of the factory. You notice a pretty massive impact crater up ahead. And you can see what looks like debris that's been scattered around. Ripper, Spuds, you might have caught sight of this at some point when you were scouting around as well, but didn't necessarily investigate it. But it looks to be, you know, a good 10-foot radius dipping into the earth. It looks more like the signs of ordnance going off than like something asteroid-like hitting the earth. And you can see debris of like vehicles like ripped apart in the area.
Can we look at the debris specifically to see if there's debris of synths, debris of maybe any human injuries or anything like that?
Okay. Yeah. So if you hop out and you start going through, you do notice that there are like two kind of mangled, burnt, like to a crisp corpses. And you also notice that you don't see any signs of like sort of synthetic parts or anything like that, but you do see almost like blackened to a crisp. You also notice that there are tire tracks that are kind of leading to and from the debris. And then the second set that seems to be coming from from the west. So one set of tire tracks going like to and from to the northeast, and then another from the west. They're different. The ones coming from the west are huge and wide. They look almost like an ATV might, and the ones heading to the northeast looks much smaller. For those of you that were in the tunnel, they look a little bit like the size and width of one of those kind of golf cart transports that were in the maintenance tunnels. Barrett, since you're down here, roll a piloting test.
Okay. And I'm also looking to see if there are any tags or anything on those burned bodies.
There's nothing that's recognizable any further.
2 successes on the piloting test.
Yeah, similar to what Spud saw going up to the bonfire area, you can find evidence of USCMC, like, and you actually can see the insignia on some of the debris. Like, there's without question, this was a USCMC vehicle.
And how does this match with what we know about what's been here and who's been here?
You know that some time ago, several weeks, almost 2 months, in fact, the USS Asteria, which is a Bougainville attack transport, was dispatched from Anchor Point Station with a garrison of Marines called the Hell Riders and some colonial marshals to deal with whatever was going on here on this moon after a couple of strange reports came out after a commercial vehicle went missing, the Rhadamanthus. And that's all you know in terms of Marine presence here.
Okay.
You all probably would be familiar that Hyperdyne is a bit of a... They're kind of a strange company in the fact that they're very private. They don't like people kind of poking around in what they do. They've had kind of a dicey history in the past with some of their holdings being taken from them because of like the 20 parsec limit and things like that. And so they've also had some trouble years in the past with some of their synthetic models having problems. And so you know that it would be unlikely that they would probably invite Marine presence onto the moon.
And the bonfire that we're seeing is neither following the west path or the northeast path, or is that the northeast path?
Yeah, from where you're standing, I mean, if you're looking at the map, you all are roughly around here. If you look directly to the north is where Spuds and Ripper saw it a few hours ago. When you look up there now, you don't see any active fire, but I'll say that you do, in the midst of the kind of the misty atmosphere, you do see some old plumage of smoke, as if a fire had kind of been recently doused, and it's still like the dying embers of the smoke are still kind of pouring up into the atmosphere.
Okay, so I'll share that information with everyone, that we have a few different track marks to follow, but neither of them are going in the direction that we're currently going, which is the bonfire. So unless anyone else have thoughts, we can continue on to the bonfire.
Good to head that way.
You're in charge, Sarge.
Okay. So if you're all if I think some of you are in the ATV and one of you and 2 of you are in the gyro car. The cool thing about the gyro car, I was getting a little deep in some of my reading of my new Colonial Marines book that I just got finally.
I'm so excited.
I am very excited. But the corner's busted. Never mind. I'm not gonna complain. But the gyro car can actually literally vertically go kind of, it does like this like vertical, like it's almost like a stationary levitation kind of thing. And whereas the ATV just has to kind of old school, just find a place, a section where they can climb up. What I'll have everyone do though is whoever wants to do this, whoever's driving these, whoever's piloting these, you can roll either a piloting test, or you can roll, what's it called? Why am I completely blanking? Or you can roll like a mobility test for a stealth. Whichever one is better for you, you can roll as you're trying to like just kind of carefully and find a route up.
So who's our drivers? Do you still want me driving?
Yes, please.
That's
As you
pretty
wish.
fun. Last session, Claymore did so many things, none of which he was good at.
See, keeping it
Look
up.
at me, I'm rolling car stealth. I can do
Okay.
it.
Having ours.
And then one person for the gyro car.
Ripper or Spuds?
I can try to do it stealthily.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really just about moving without. You have a lot of stuff going for you. There's not a ton of visibility.
No, it was an observation. Sorry, what was it? Mobility.
Mobility.
Mobility or piloting, whatever is better for you, is fine.
Mobility.
Okay. All right. So, taking slightly different routes, you all managed to climb the ridge. It's kind of an uncomfortable climb for those in the ATV. You're sloshing about here and there. Gyro car is a little bit more of a shortcut as you parade up. But eventually you do find what looks like kind of a ridge line, and as you get a little higher, that especially the gyro cars, you kind of go a little vertical, almost like you're flying. You can see that there's kind of like an extended plateau or a ridge that runs along the southern portion of this mountain, and you can see it kind of connects almost like a pathway back towards the factory. You can see that there are these huge ATV tire tracks where they've kind of come up and come back down. But you also notice that kind of dug into a flat surface of the plateau, there's like a huge crater of burnt debris. And you can see there's all sorts of debris in here, almost mismatched. You can see that there's, looks like equipment, looks like limbs, all manner of things in here. It's just, again, this is all just from kind of looking out your windows and seeing it.
No signs of movement or anything like that?
I'll give you your observation roll that you rolled a second ago, and you do not see any movement around here other than like occasional something like kind of collapsing in the pile from like turning into ash and just sort of sinks down upon itself.
I'm going to continue to just scan the area and make sure that someone isn't watching us approach.
Okay. All right. So you're
given
like
that,
overwatching.
if you want to take the active on this search, I can prop up and keep an eye out through my rifle. I ain't good at much moving around at this time, but I can at least still shoot things.
Seeing as how we can go vertical, I say we perch ourselves up and watch them.
Okay. So two of you go
Sounds
up
good.
maybe a little bit further and find a place to perch up in the gyro car, and the rest of you are down here. Don't forget, you also have a rail gun on the ATV. So the 4-person crew that's down here, someone could even be on the rail gun too.
There you go, Koenig.
I'll take it.
Well, are you going up with the
going up there
gyro
with
car?
me?
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
go
That's
No,
what I
I'll
figured.
go up with you.
Matt and I are on the
Yeah,
same page. Yeah. Okay.
let's go for
All
a
right.
nice sight.
I'm going to be scanning the area with my spotter scope.
Okay. All right. So let me get observation tests from those that are digging through the rubble. So anybody who gets out and wants to dig through this pit of rubble, go ahead and do that. And then Spuds, just go ahead and give me a general observation as you kind of, we'll call this like your passive as you watch for danger.
One
There's
success for
nothing
Barrett.
here.
Do you want me to stay at the wheel, or do you want me to help move some rocks?
Your help in searching would be appreciated.
Yes, ma'am.
Push it.
Nope.
Okay. One
Look at
success.
me, I'm picking up the biggest rock.
One success gets you basically two things. There's all sorts of heavy machinery here. That's hard to. It's not necessarily your level of expertise for what it does, but you see kind of large specialty equipment, occasional Hyperdyne systems like property of Hyperdyne, so some kind of specialty equipment that they use. And you also notice what looks like sort of kind of burnt up and broken remains of, as best you can tell, people.
So if I'm looking at this equipment, by the way, just for the hell of it, I rolled a heavy machinery and got 2 successes. Looking at the equipment, does it look like there was some sort of like blast, or does it look like the equipment was thrown into the fire? Sort of how did the equipment in the fire seem to?
Okay. You rolled a heavy machinery. That's fine. I'll take that. It looks like this was intentionally torched. Like someone actually, you can see along the sides of this pit, someone had dug a small hole and pushed the sediment to the side and have put stuff within, which is basically about a 12 to 15 foot wide pit and a few feet deep. Several pieces of equipment. Looks like maybe some old computer monitors, and there are bodies in here as well. And I would say you would also notice that there's some stuff in here that almost looks like charcoal sediment, and then some of it looks newly burnt, as if this might have been a place that's been used multiple times. You know what I mean? Like there's like old, like there's like older ash at the bottom, and then there's newer blacker stuff on top.
It's been a burn pit that's been used a few times.
Yeah.
And you say bodies, so human and synthetic, or just human, or just synthetic?
Yeah, Abbott, roll a medical aid test. And then the other thing with your heavy machinery, Barrett, you can't be certain, but you think this might be like they almost look like printing, like there's special printing compression type thing, something that has to do with like 3D printing.
Okay.
Go ahead, Abbott. Roll a medical aid if you want to try to dig through some of the remains.
Scanning.
Oh my goodness.
Where was that with Koenig?
Right?
Ugh.
Because it isn't necessary. This is the way things go.
Almost be alive with that.
5 successes, Netshu. These are human remains. Okay. And not only that, but you can see human remains from like little bits of bone kind of left within the ashy residue at the bottom, suggesting there were bodies that were burnt a while ago. But then also it looks like there were bodies that were burnt more recently. And you can tell it's hard to be 100% certain, but you are about 99% certain with that roll that it looks like most of them just had their necks snapped. Like just you could see some sort of severing or breakage of the neck.
These were done humanely, if that is possible. They were all broken at the neck.
Oh.
They're using this as a repository of bodies. This body is much older than this body, and not in age, but in length of time that it has passed.
We'll see what the others saw up above.
So while you're doing this, Spuds, you got your spotter out. You notice on the western side of the factory, I described that there was like a landing pad that was big enough to hold the orbital lifter and this massive hangar door. You see like these yellowish orange lights in the distance. It's a ways away, but you got your spotter scope out so you can see them pop up. And the doors begin to open, but they don't open all the way. They just open very kind of a short distance, and a vehicle drives out of it. And then the doors close, and then those yellow lights turn off.
Okay, as it's happening, and I'm sitting there next to Koenig, I'm basically spotting for him with this scope. I'll call it the coordinates, like 3 o'clock.
All right, I got eyes on it. Also, call down to Barrett. Vehicle just left the factory. Small wheeled vehicle.
Which
Can
direction
we
is it
get?
headed?
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Can we tell which way it's going?
It's on the same ridge line you all, and it seems to be driving in your vague direction. Yeah, looks like it's
Coming this
towards
way.
you.
Okay. When it gets to be a little bit closer and you feel like you've got a good shot,
We'll
take it.
go.
Hot diggity.
Oh, we got
I'm
some
gonna
fun here.
jump inside the vehicle and get on the big gun. Or I
Okay,
guess
so
that'd
you're
be
on the-
outside the vehicle.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
And
you all
I'll
have
radio
time to
back
set
to
up.
see, are you able to see? I'm assuming it's synthetics driving.
probably, well, I'm going to guess it's too far out to make out details like that, or
What was your observation? What'd you roll again, Matt? You got 2?
I got 2, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. From this distance, you can tell it looks like one of the poly models, the female short-haired version that you've seen a few times now.
Okay, so the information that we have here is that we have a lot of dead human beings whose necks have been snapped and they've been burned, and since some coming our way. So it seems like a shoot to kill order.
I did not mean to do that.
Okay.
Oh,
all
fire.
good.
Sins are coming.
Who
the sins are
fired?
coming.
Who fired?
Master
Don't
Sergeant Barrett,
Yes, Evan.
what would you have me do?
Well, so Ripper, you're with us, right? Or did you go up?
I'm in the vehicle manning the gun.
Okay, perfect. Let's make sure we've got ourselves set up here with some cover and keep an eye on the approaching vehicle.
Very well. I'll put myself behind the vehicle and pick out my pulse rifle and lay it over the vehicle.
Do
Okay.
we have any type of anything that we can kind of set out as a? No, I don't think we have anything.
Like
for-
anti-vehicle mines or something.
Yeah,
I've got pups, ma'am.
I've got a couple grenades. I've got a rocket launcher. I've got a shield I can put in front of you if you want it.
I think I'll manage. Matt, this is Melissa asking, what does a pup do?
It scans and maps the area so we can. That's all it really does.
Okay, just get a better lay of the land as
Yeah,
they're coming.
or before we go into a building, you can throw one and it flies through there and I'll map the whole building for you.
Okay, if you just want to
Awesome.
tell us the best places for us to take up areas to get some cover while they're approaching. Have the grenade at the ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Chuck, you got what? Extreme range on your rifle? I think.
say that. That's it's type ranged. It should. It's the sniper scope. Yeah.
So the question then just remains is like, do you want to take a
Oh, yeah.
shot? Because
It's
you're
a
gonna
shot.
have you're gonna have range on them before everybody else does.
Oh yeah.
So it's just a question of if you want to take shots from extreme range or if you want to let them get closer so that everyone else can kind of unload or whatever it is that they
So
want to
I
do.
would say if we're like here on the map with the bonfire, I would say maybe once they get to kind of here-ish.
Just
Yeah,
think about in
about
terms
halfway.
of let's do range. Let's do abstracted free league range. Extreme, long, short.
Yeah.
Uh,
once they get moved into like a long.
Yeah.
Using my spotter scope too, I can give you bonuses, Chuck, when you do take that shot.
Nice.
So before you do so, I'll roll observation, and each success I get on observation will give you a bonus die.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. As soon as we hit long range, I'll take my shot.
And I'll assume that you guys park the vehicle, the ATV, as best you can. It's not gonna be like fully hidden, especially since you want to make use of the Gatling gun. But you park it in such a way that it's not immediately noticeable from
Yes.
a long distance. That's fine. All right. So here's what we'll say. Everyone, go ahead and just take a shot. Like, go ahead and give Koenig the bonus spuds. But if you're waiting for the long, oh
do I
no,
push it?
of course you do.
Oh!
Oh my gosh.
So anybody who's got a long ranged weapon
Mm.
or longer can take a shot.
Is
Are you
it?
pushing spuds?
Okay.
Can we assume that we've been able to
Oh,
aim?
wow.
That's 3 to your roll.
Of course, yeah. You can
Okay.
assume that you can take your bonus from aim, like all the bonuses you would possibly get. So get your extra bonus from aim, all that kind of stuff is fine. Yeah,
What's the addition
What?
for aim?
To
+2.
All right, I'll roll an extra 2.
I
Oh
wanna
yeah,
aim
do
as
aim,
well.
do aim before you roll that, Chuck.
It gets me extra 7 dice on that.
You better damn well hit that target.
there you
There
go.
you go.
Push that shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna push it.
Six.
Oh.
6 successes.
Okay, I'm gonna go around one by one and get the damage. Barrett, how much damage did you do?
Nothing.
Okay, Koenig,
7.
Ripper. Your Gatling gun. You have the Gatling gun, which does have long range. The Gatling gun has damage of 3 and a bonus of 3. So just roll a ranged combat with a plus 5, since you have 3 from the Gatling gun and 2 from aiming, Jen. So whatever your normal range combat is, plus 5.
There you go.
And then the
that's
base
still-
damage of the Gatling gun is 3. And you had an extra success, so that's 4 damage from the Gatling gun.
That was the
Ah.
grenade.
I think she
No.
just rolled. Oh, that was Matt. Sorry. my
I was
bad.
accidentally clicking things again. Don't mind me.
I put a bunch of new sounds in. So yeah, Jen, roll. What do you got?
Range +2 plus.
Range plus 5, so she gets 9
Okay.
dice.
Oh,
You get
hold
9.
on.
You get 9 dice.
If you right click on the weapon in your inventory, it'll give you a little thing where you can type in the bonus.
Jeremy, how much did you do?
A 1 success for 2 damage.
Abbott, did you get anything?
Negative.
And Spuds, you just gave your bonus to Koenig, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I used my round to spot.
Did you want to push that, Jen?
Got an extra success.
All right. So then the grand total that you all just did is 13 points of damage. As you all at once, as this thing is, you just, Koenig or probably Spuds really, it's just like hold. And then once they get to a specific spot, it's just like, all right, fire. And everyone, and all these explosions kind of start happening. And you watch as this vehicle just upends the front of the vehicle, just flips over top of it. It kind of flips in the air and smashes down, fire bursting out from the sides. You've completely disabled the vehicle with 13 points of damage. Spuds, from where you're at, you don't see you don't see anyone kind of getting out of the vehicle, but you see that there are arms flailing from the smashed cab as if they're trying to get out, but they're pinned down. And thank you for that raid, lords and ladies of fate. We are playing Alien. They just blew up a vehicle with a synthetic in it. So what do y'all want to do?
One synthetic in it that I could see from my spotter.
That's
scope?
what you saw. That's what
Okay.
you got. Yeah, because I think you got like 2 successes, so that's what you got.
So, Abed, how do you kill a toaster humanely?
Any which way.
Cut loose.
But loose.
A toaster is not a human.
I hate you.
Okay, so
I understand this.
I want to see if do we see any additional movement? So now that we just made a ruckus, do we see any other additional?
What I just said is all you see, which is that you see arms that are trying to like flail and get out from the cab
Still
of the
movement,
driver is.
Sarge.
That's it.
All right, let's fire again.
Okay. So if you're just going to continue firing from range, don't worry about rolling it. You're going to light it up, and eventually the thing will explode in a fiery ball, and you don't see any movement at that point.
Hooray! Burn, baby, burn.
So now what I
Let's
want
go
to
Inferno.
what I want to see, as we move in closer, is there anything else? So in other directions, sort of, did this bring any attention?
Makes me wonder what was in the back.
Roll an observation test, Barrett, as you get closer. Okay.
2.
You do not see any activity anywhere else. You then get fairly close to you all before you fired, so you're still a little bit of a distance from the factory. But yeah, there's now a smoldering, fiery inferno where this truck used to be.
Should we go investigate?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go towards the vehicle.
Okay. You head up towards the vehicle, and it is just like billowing with fire. You can the smell of gasoline everywhere. It is just roasting. It is not very safe to inspect.
Is there anything that we can do, like sand or anything nearby, to try to
Sure.
manage?
It's gonna take a little time, but yeah, if you if everyone gets out and does it, and you spend some time, you can eventually put the fire out. Maybe there's even some kind of fire suppression on your ATV, but eventually you put it out. And what you're left with is a blackened, charred vehicle, some sort of like flatbed truck that had like some kind of covering over the back. You can see that there are burned to a crisp synthetic bodies. Looks like 2 of them. And more of that machinery that you just saw in the pit, except unfortunately this stuff is completely destroyed from the explosion that you all enacted on the vehicle.
While they're doing that, can I say Spuds and I stay
Yeah.
up above?
I was gonna recommend let's stay up high.
Okay. All right. Spuds, go ahead and roll observation. Why don't you take like a +2, since maybe Koenig's assisting you, so we kind of do it inverted, like you assist him with observing, he assists you with firing, that kind of thing.
3. It's not bad.
You notice this is literally extreme distance. You see on an exterior walkway, Spuds, through the mist and through the smoke, you see there is a figure in some kind of enviro suit. There's a couple figures walking past on an exterior walkway on the factory, and you see one of them has some kind of weapon that they have up over the side of their shoulder, and they look to be aiming down towards where this fiery inferno vehicle debris is, where your team is. And looks like, and you would know they have some sort of RPG that they're about to shoot.
Sarge, get out of there! I got eyes on the enemy. They're gonna fire on you.
Everybody back to cover. Everybody back until I'll go back up.
That's cute.
With it being extreme range, with him saying that, can I try and take a pot shot?
Yeah, take a pot shot, and if you do enough damage, this might not go off. But if you don't do enough damage, this RPG's going off.
I guess I should say my goal here is to more distract them, maybe throw their side off. But yeah, I'll take that pot shot. Take a bonus for my favorite weapon, but I'm not going to be taking time to aim because it's kind of a moment of panic.
Does he get anything from my observation roll?
Yeah, take that +2.
Nice.
Sure.
Already got 3.
So there's a +2 on that. Yeah, no successes on that +2, but 3 success.
Total damage?
4.
That's pretty good. All right. My armor. Is it armor piercing?
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay. So all that damage went through, and you see as you fire down, center mass, perfect shot, no issues whatsoever. You see white, just like kind of a white explosion out the back, and right up against what looks like this large glass pane, like tinted glass pane window that seems to go into the factory, and you can tell like you hit it, but and it kind of stumbles back, like slams against the glass, but nonetheless like tries to hurry and shoot because they're sense. So it's gonna fire, but I'm gonna give it a negative. I'm gonna give it a negative like 3 since you just did so much damage. So
Nice.
So they're wearing enviro suits, but they're synths.
mm-hmm.
Might give him just a little bit of armor.
So you see then as you take the shot, Koenig, and Spud, you're looking through this little scope, the scope as well. This thing stumbles back, but then forms itself back up. You can see there's a couple other figures up here too that are relatively they're just kind of standing there up against the railing. This thing stumbles back and just unleashes, and you watch in horror as it kind of explodes down in the direction of where everybody is. Okay. This is the
Got like 1 turn of running?
End of your characters.
Maybe.
Yay.
We take cover.
Base
nailed
damage
it.
5.
It's base damage 5. Okay.
Koenig, what do you say we get out of here?
Everybody who is down by the wreckage, make a mobility roll to try to dodge out of this.
Oh, cramp.
Ugh.
Oh, no.
Well, there's Spuds, you're about to be in charge.
Oh no!
I'm ready to be second in command, sir.
I only got a few hours left in me, probably. You're going to take the leads on this one.
Shit.
That is what's killing him.
All right, I'm gonna push because. Where am I?
Okay. So who that was inspecting the wreckage of this vehicle that you blew up? Who failed the mobility test?
Abbott did.
Okay. Abbott, do you have any armor?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and roll it. Okay. You take a total of 6 points of damage.
No.
And I did it right
Again.
this time.
Abbott is laying what looks to be lifeless on the ground, and after a while, he eventually picks himself up off the ground, and he starts twitching, but he's still there.
Through the spotter scope, Spuds, you see that they are this thing is loading up another rocket. And again, there's
I'd
those
like-
two other figures that aren't doing anything.
I'd like to
I see.
fire as well then.
What's the range on your gun?
Extreme.
Okay, yeah, you're in range. Go for it.
You can do it.
Can I?
Do it. You know you want to.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
That's not good.
Oh.
Okay, tremble. You start to tremble uncontrollably. All skill rolls using agility for now. For a little while, I'm gonna suffer
No!
-2.
no.
Um,
That's rage combat.
okay, no one
Okay.
else suffers anything from that. So the total damage, though, you still did what, 4 or 5 damage? All right, that'll be enough to make it roll an injury. As you unload on this thing, and as Spuds and Koenig, you're looking down your scopes, you just see that coming up from the level below, and lands on this guy, and blows his head clear.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Just whoosh, and you can see it just sort of fly back, stumble around down onto the ground, and its face is down where its foot is, and it's still staring out. But nonetheless, the body is still struggling at this point and not going to be quite able to aim well. It's still trying to function, and those two other figures are still not even doing anything at all. What do you two want to do, Koenig and Spuds?
I think we put this thing down.
Spot for you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Do your observation bonus.
2 success. I'll take it.
Okay.
I'm gonna aim with this one.
Okay.
So that's +6. And it's 3 successes. I'm gonna go ahead and push. So
6 successes.
Wow.
Six
Success.
successes. Okay.
so what is that? 7 more damage.
All right,
Neat.
I'm not even gonna roll. That's so much damage. You describe how you destroy this thing, Koenig.
I know enough about synth. I'm gonna try and hit their sensor, their central core reactor. I don't know enough about sense, but Koenig does.
I know enough about sense, and I know
Koenig
enough about
knows.
sense.
Chuck has no idea. So yeah, I'm hitting the central power or whatever it is.
Okay.
Putting
So
it
you see the
down.
body just
Ooh, actually, can I hit the RPG?
sure. Yeah, we'll say if you'd like to.
Oh.
Yeah,
I
I wanna
will-
hit the RPG.
I will
Yeah?
say this.
You're
I
gonna take
didn't
some
warn you guys before.
successes.
No. Like you could totally do it. That would be loud. It would cause an explosion, and you're right next to a glass pane window. So
Yeah,
it's
but
your
it'd
call
be
if you
super
want that to
cool.
happen.
So I'm gonna do it.
Okay. So you aim, and then so Ripper and the rest of you who are looking up towards the ridge where this rocket just shot down from, you see an explosion up there. Through your spotter, Spuds, you see fractures in the pane window as it just suddenly sucks inward, and there's now this huge hole in the second story of this factory. And again,
Kill
those
confirmed, sir.
two other figures haven't moved.
Doing good work up here, Spuds.
We're doing the Lord's work.
Amen. Not my ex-wife though. She did the devil's work. That lady, gotta tell you.
That's playing a 12-year-old Texan boy. That's what it is.
So was it a devil's three-way that she tried to tuck you into?
Oh, yeah, listen. Yeah, 2 horns is too many.
So you've shared the information that there's 2 other figures?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, I guess that would be a Spud's question.
Roger.
But those are extreme because they haven't moved off the building.
There's two other people up here in these suits
Right.
that are probably about 20 feet, one to the right of the one that you just shot, one to the left, and both of them they're there, they're moving, but they haven't moved. You know what I mean? Like they're still in position. You can see like they're ambulatory. They're just like, they're not running to help. They're not firing back. They're just sort of here, standing.
Maybe they're not really functional and they're kind of like scarecrows.
My guess is that they are on guard duty and it's not their responsibility to leave. It's their responsibility to stay. For anyone that may be
Could be.
approaching inward.
Keeping an
Just
eye
like
on
a
it.
machine. Those assholes.
I'd call on the comms. I was worried that they were going to go for that rocket launcher if we put the first one down.
Okay, so
You want me to take a probing shot, see if they do anything?
Try one of them and see what happens.
All right.
Okay.
Give me a spot there, buddy.
3.
All right.
So as Koenig goes to aim, and you're like, okay, 1 degree west, you're kind of calling out wind and everything. Spuds, you notice something. You notice that there seem to be chains wrapped around the appendages of these individuals, and they seem to be chained to the walkway.
Hold your fire there, sir. These appear to be
Oh.
prisoners.
Oh, God, that could have been bad.
Well, it could have been bad.
Barrett, it looks
fire.
like whoever it is, Spuds is seeing they're chained up. I wonder if those are some of our missing Marine buddies.
It's
All right.
fortunate that he didn't fire. Otherwise, the shock of seeing red when he expected white may have not been good for him.
Well, and I would hate to think if we punctured a hole in their suit, even if my shot didn't kill them, they'd suffocate shortly after.
Permission to launch a pup before we get in there, ma'am.
Go right ahead.
Do you close in towards the factory now? Because you guys are still extreme distance from it, by the way. You guys
We are,
well
but can
away.
I toss a
Yeah.
pup and it start flying in that direction?
Yeah, you're fine. I'm just trying to get a sense of, are we closing in on the factory at this point? What's going on?
Ripper's gonna stay in the vehicle on the Gatling gun just in case.
Are we being sneaky or are we just gonna drive right on up?
Let's be
Uh.
sneaky. Ripper, I would say, watch us for a bit. But once we get to the halfway point, I think you'll just need to join us.
I'd say they know we're here, ma'am.
I'm sorry.
I'd say they know we're here.
Certainly knocked on their door hard enough.
Yes, but we can take cover as we're
My
going
pup
in.
is flying through the hole in the wall that Koenig just blew in.
What are you seeing?
So whatever maps it'll do a 3-dimensional map of like the area on your PDAT. Kind of like
Yeah.
what is it in Prometheus where they launched
It's,
the
it's
pups?
Prometheus, yeah.
And
yeah.
they fly through there and just like it makes a 3D map of everything.
So the initial thing you get is you get it seems like the window pane opened up onto kind of an interior tall room with a kind of a central walkway around a heavy stair. To the left and the right as the pup entered the window, there were kind of closed doors that it looks like it couldn't quite get proper. It couldn't actually get through to do a proper map inside. But it continues sort of deeper into the factory at that point, and it's giving you what looks like a series of, like you're getting pings on like some really heavy assembly line like machinery, You're also getting pings on what looks like these like large kind of utility rooms that have like these huge heavy duty pipes that are running into and out of the facility. There's basically 2 stories to the facility that you're getting a read on, and it looks like the second story, like there's most of the factory is just 2 stories high. It's not like there's a second level, but there's like on the rear of the factory where you just blew a hole in, there does appear to be a series of rooms that your pup can't quite penetrate because maybe the doors are closed or locked or something like that.
And Jeff, did I hear you say earlier that there are 2 like underground ways to get into the factory?
Yeah, Ripper would have when she kind of peeked into the maintenance tunnels after defusing like an IED on one of the hatches. There were these 2 large kind of garage entry points to like a sub level. But you would know, putting those pieces together, your pup is giving you the 2 surface levels, and the information that Ripper was able to get suggests that there is a factory sub level beneath these 2 things that you're getting, Spuds. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of probably the best location to enter. Possibly not the area that we just blew up. If we have another way around.
Yeah, so if you wanted to get into the sub-level, to get to those doors, you would have to drive back down the mountain, find an access hatch, and climb down it. Because you know that you couldn't get your vehicle down there. You would actually have to climb one of those auxiliary hatches to enter into the maintenance tunnel below ground. And then the other place, which is below that large, or not below, like kind of around the corner from that large window that you blow open, there's that massive hangar. Like there's that massive heavy duty hangar that Spud saw open briefly and the vehicle came out of.
All right, which of those doors do we want to go in?
In the mining hole.
And I'm assuming you're
Depends.
having this conversation while you're driving, or
Yeah.
or okay.
Depends on if we want to deal with the bombs.
Those doors up or down?
Well, there's bombs on the hatches in the ground that lead underground.
I hate to say it, but we just saw that landing pad door open up and nothing exploded.
It's a good point. I like not being exploded.
Same.
I'm a fan of that.
There's some other Marines out there chained up.
I don't see anything about an external way to get up there.
Yeah, there's a staircase you can get up there.
This here gyrocopter.
That would work too.
Well,
So you all can land on the second floor and take a look at the hostages.
yeah, that may not be a bad idea.
Throwing the pup through there. So sorry, Jeff, and it
Yeah, go
scanned it over. So if we did land up there, would Koenig and I be looking down? Like, would we have height advantages looking down into whatever we blew the hole into? And he said there was like heavy machinery and stuff
Gotcha.
down there.
So
in that room.
if you hopped up to the second level where those 2 other figures are and where the hole in the window is, you would be on like the second level of the factory. And
Okay.
you know that there's like an internal kind of walkway and a handful of rooms immediately inside the window. But then the further into the factory you go, it just becomes almost a 2-story heavy machinery assembly line factory at that point. So you would have some height advantage going in on the second level, but it's not like the end of the world. It's not the greatest height advantage in the world, just because of the way it's laid out. Does that also give you movement of individuals, or is it just like?
It's up to you. I don't play it that way because like in Prometheus it didn't pick up life forms. Like it kind of, but it didn't. Like when that facehugger thing, like it didn't sense any of that stuff when they used the pups in the movie. So I never let pick up life forms in my games. It's
okay.
It's up to you. I use it as more of a mapping tool, so we know what we're entering into. Like there's no surprises in layout for us.
More.
Yeah,
fun if it
you
doesn't
know
pick up
exactly
light.
how the layout would be if you were to pop in through this window.
So do you 2 want to take the second floor entrance? And we'll go back in the
Yeah.
door that the vehicle just came out of.
We can at least give covering fire a distraction. I'd also like to take a look, like Spuds mentioned, see if those two are still alive up there. See if we can get them down, maybe.
There's any man that can handle an upper decker. It's you, Koenig.
I don't know about it anymore, but before I was a master at the upper decker. I gotta tell you, I didn't get invited back to so many parties.
We'll throw you another one whenever you survive all this.
Appreciate that.
So would we have eyes on their location then from that vantage point as well?
And whose location?
The door they're going to, that
Main.
The hangar door?
bay door. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
it's
would
just
we not
that.
have eyes on it?
Yeah, it's because that's you wouldn't have as good of eyes. No, it would be like the door itself is on a different side of the building.
But we'd be better off to cover them and then split the party? Yes.
So, yeah, I mean the hangar doors are massive and they are heavy duty. It would be a question of whether you can figure out a way to open them. You don't know if you can do that. The doors that you saw on the sub level that Ripper saw are smaller. Probably would suffer ordnance well. This exterior hangar bay door probably wouldn't. So the two easier modes of access will be either the hole you just blew open or the sub level will probably be the two best ways in. If that makes sense.
And how many people can fit in the gyro?
Only two.
Yeah, okay.
But there's stairs coming up. I mean, we land the gyro, we can all go up as a unit.
All right, let's do that.
All right.
Let's go in, especially because having just the two of you together when you're so
Yeah.
fragile there. Connor.
Yeah, I dig.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right. So you all go towards the second level where you blew the hole open in the window. There's these two figures up there. The minute you come up here, by the way, they start like they're moving and they're like tugging on these chains, and you can kind of hear like actually no, you wouldn't be able to hear, but Abbott, you would. You would kind of hear muffled sounds probably because are you wearing? Wait, actually, are you wearing Enviro suit, Abbott?
No.
Okay,
No,
then
he's
yeah,
not.
you would
He
be
is wearing
able.
armor, but no.
Okay, you would be able to hear like muffled sounds. Like,
I hear something. I hear an attempt to make a speech. But they may be wearing a gag of some sort.
Okay, let's get up there. Let's get them free.
Okay. You head over and you can see that they have been chained in place, like to the point where they can't sit down. They're like chained to the railing to the point where if they kind of gave any sort of slack to it, they would just sort of like rip their arms.
That's just Sergeant Barrett.
Yes, Abbott.
If I were to take some sort of prisoners, and if I were to rely on going against human beings, I would make sure to trap these bodies. Because human beings think with emotion. Naturally, you want to save them. I desire to save them, but it is not as urgent.
Can you do a good search?
I can attempt. I'm better at putting humans back together than searching for ways to take them apart.
This might be a job for you, Ripper.
I can come up and assist with that.
So
I'm going to go ahead and
Looking to
Sir-
see if they've been booby trapped.
Okay. I mean, if Ripper you're doing it, you can roll Comtech 'cause it's probably better. Unless if your observation's better, you can roll that. So Comtech or observation's fine.
No, because I have bypass. How do I add that in?
Right click when you go to roll, and you should be able to add a bonus. I think it's right click when you go to roll on the skill.
Ooh, there we go. Fancy.
Okay. You do not notice any sort of. This looks mainly like it's like heavy duty chains, like industrial heavy chains, and locks that are just mechanical. On both of them, we'll roll it over to both.
Well, Hacken's not going to get these locks open.
Does anyone have anything on them?
Yeah, anyone got a torch?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yes,
Abbott,
Perfect.
you do do the honors.
Very well.
It's like
maybe
a
we
Swiss Army
should
knife,
gag
this
him
one.
first. Let
Yes.
him talk.
Yes.
Actually, that's a good
Devin
one.
Viro suits on, and the atmosphere is toxic, by the way. And there is a
Can we-
giant hole in the window too.
I don't like the looks of this.
You think maybe their sense posing to be? Yeah, that's a good
Now,
thought.
didn't you get blown up by a door last time? This is another trap.
May I try something?
What would you like to try?
Oh, look at the person that's chained up. You can nod your head up and down, yes?
You see like a rapid. Matt just keeps throwing electroshock grenades.
Do you wish
Sticking
do you
all
wish,
out.
do you wish to hold your breath and have me remove your gag, or just remove the chains? Remove the gag? Hold your breath.
Okay.
So I will open the helmet, remove the gag.
I'm backing away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm getting away from
As-
this.
You move the helmet off. Go ahead, Chuck.
I was going to ask, as he's removing the helmet, I just want to be watching to see if it's one of these models.
Okay. Yeah, the helmet comes off, and you see a heavily bruised and beaten face of a man, Hispanic it looks like, and he's got like kind of a very close crop, almost fully shaved head, like, but there's like little tiny stubble, same thing kind of along the beard, and you can see there's a tattoo like right underneath on his neck as you pull it off, and his eyes just get all big, and he's got something in his mouth, like they jam something in his mouth, but his eyes are really big once the helmet comes off.
So I remove the gag and put his helmet back on.
Okay, and you hear, thank you.
You're welcome. Would you like me to cut the chains?
Yeah, please.
Very well.
Have they been trapped at all?
Who are they?
Can you get Dawson too? I think that's Dawson.
We'll get to Dawson. Why don't you tell me what's going on here first? Or while he's cutting you free, tell me what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm Private First Class Lopez of the Hell Riders. I'm at an Anchor Point station. We were sent here on the Asteria. Oh, it hurts. These freaking synths, man. They are. I don't know what the hell they're doing. They're freaking crazy. They killed half of us. I think they took some of the others, and they got the ship, man. They got the freaking ship. Oh God, it hurts.
That was my next question. Good news is we were sent here to rescue you and as many of your crew that are still alive. Now this is.
I've only seen Dawson. He's the only one I've seen. They just keep us out here. We've been out here for, oh God, days. I don't know, 2-3 days. Oh
They've
God.
been all right. This is Master Sergeant Barrett. You answer her now. Well, do you know what they did with your ship?
I was in the ground crew. We radioed up. There was some kind of problem. We saw the freaking. They had a lifter. They had a bunch of them. Went up. We tried the radio. The comms were down. We couldn't connect. Like a freaking blackout, man. Like no radio at all. We just couldn't get anybody in orbit. Anything. And then as last we heard of them, that was like, I don't even know what day it is, man. It's weeks.
So you're saying that one of our ships is being piloted by synths at an unknown location?
I don't know, ma'am. I don't know. All I know is they didn't send anyone else down, and we've been here. There were about 16 of us, I think, at one point. A few of us got picked off along the way. They took a few of us into the facility. They took a couple down to the basement, and we never see them when they come back. They've been keeping us in these small rooms and feeding us like vending machine food, and it's been tough, ma'am. I really need to sit down. I've been standing for like 2 days straight. My legs are like jelly. Can I please sit down?
Abbott, how is the progress going?
It is coming along. I didn't know if I need to make it.
No, you're good. You're good. Like
okay.
if you're
Ripper's
just doing the
doing-
torch,
Okay.
yeah, it's fine.
Ripper will assist in kind of like holding him up, and then assist Lopez in sitting down.
Thank you. Thank
Hey,
you.
Lopez, can you confirm your ship name for me?
USS Asteria, ma'am.
Asteria. That's what we were looking for. That one right there.
Commander Cynthia Lau.
Come again, soldier?
Commanded by Cynthia Lau. She's a
Cynthia Lau.
ex-Marine marshal lady.
We didn't get any briefing on who was in charge of the hysteria,
You
did we?
did. Yeah, you did. And the name checks out.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on there.
Barrett, if these two are well enough, I'd like to recommend we send them back in the gyro to the ship. Give Theo there an update on what's going on.
Any scanning that they could do may be helpful, but let's see what condition Dawson is in. Abbott, can you check for traps as well? Do the same.
I'll check for traps.
I'll roll it over. You need to roll it
Okay.
again. There's nothing on that one either. And we'll see you go through the same process, taking the helmet off, cleaning them out. And they're even tired. Like the minute you put the helmet, like the minute you take the helmet off, like they're like spitting. You rip it out. They take a big breath and inhale. Their eyes just kind of go cross-eyed, and they just faint. And you quickly cover up the helmet. You check. Their vitals are still there, but they're kind of just exhausted. Like there's a level of exhaustion to them that they seem sickly. They seem like they haven't eaten, drink in a couple days. They don't look good.
I turn to Master Sergeant Barrett. I do not know if this would be the best idea, but I do have never sleep if I need to administer it to them. I can also provide some nap relief to help them on their way back.
It may be beneficial. And what I want to do now that we've kind of checked with them, I want to make sure that somebody's looking around while we've been attending to them, and that we don't have any
If
incoming.
they're not good to go, we could just put them in the ATV. Come back for them later.
We could. I'd hate to leave them out here undefended. We already know that them scents are coming out the front doors.
I reckon it's a good idea to send them back by themselves.
I don't, but I don't want to leave them here to get murdered undefended.
I'd go
Sir?
with them, but
How do we
kind
know
of want
these
to
ain't
play with
synths?
some bombs soon.
How do we know these ain't synths?
They don't look like the models. That's all we got to go to work off of. I suppose. Well, that ain't worked if they're passed out. I was going to say we could,
Cut them.
make them wake up again and give them a cut on their cheek.
One of them is
Or
awake, and he's like,
Give them a cut while they're asleep. And then
Lopez is still awake. It's only Dawson who kind of passed out. And so Lopez is like, if you need to cut
Oh.
me, sir, you go right ahead and cut me. I haven't cut enough as it is, but if you got a gun, put a rifle in my
He's
hands.
already purple.
All you need to do is wipe their face and see if the bruising changes in the way that it would on a human being. The color would be different.
You're the
We're gonna
medical
make them-
expert here.
We're gonna make them suck air again? Really?
Now you guys can bring them into the ATV, which is right down the stairs.
Oh, is the
Well,
ATV enclosed?
So you-
I didn't know it was enclosed.
ATV
I
is
thought it
enclosed.
was open air.
I'm treating it like it's enclosed because it's narratively helpful.
got it. Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
That's-
Okay. Yeah, you bring them inside. You take their helmets off and he just breathes. Do you have any water? Food?
We would have
anything?
some on there, wouldn't
Yeah,
we?
sure. I'll give them.
Yeah. And he just starts to scarf the water, like drinking too fast.
Hey, don't take it easy on that, man.
Yes, sir. Yes. Sorry, sir.
You got any open cuts on you?
Maybe. I don't know.
Considering the pain you have already felt, this will only feel moderate. However, I must warn you, you will feel a small amount of pain as I perform this test. I'm just going to take my thumb and run it across his face to see how the skin changes color.
And you think like his cheekbone might be fractured as you move it across.
The bruise
see-
flushes, though?
Yeah, it does, and you see like the skin kind of break a bit where like there was like an old wound, like he's been punched several times and very, very hard, and like blood just kind of trickles down.
Forgive me, I did not know that you had received a fracture there.
Same test to Dawson.
Okay, you start poking around on him. Same thing. You get the kind of the same result. They both bleed.
Okay. Do we want to try to give him some never sleep and nap relief and get him up and moving about, or do we want to send him back?
I vote send them back. These two, they've seen enough. At least get them to the ship. Let them get recovered. That's my vote. I'll go with whatever you want, though, Barrett.
Ma'am, if you can spare it, you can take a firearm and I'll get Dawson back to your ship, no problem. You can trust me.
Are we doing
Spud's just
kinda
standing
like-
behind them, looking at you, Bear, going like, shaking his head, no.
Is there an
Hey.
insight test we can do?
I think you just do observation.
Good
I think
question.
it's just observation. Observation has so many purposes.
I've got 2.
But yeah,
Anybody
go
else
ahead.
have more?
Or we could just say we could do, I don't know, maybe manipulation if you want, like the inverse. Like if you're good at manipulating, you can tell if you're being manipulated. So you can do that too. Abbott, I mean, he doesn't seem untrustworthy, but I mean, you would probably conclude, medically speaking, he looks in horrible shape, and you might be concerned with, him driving. But he doesn't seem like untrustworthy. He looks genuinely grateful for you all to be here. You're not sure if he could drive all the way back, though.
Signs point to them being human and being unfortunate victims. However, I do not know if they are capable of making it back to the ship.
If
Can't
we
they just
get
hang
outta
out
here
in this
fast-
ATV? It's
No.
not like it doesn't have a Gatling gun or anything already on it.
I don't. Putting this out there for totally selfish reasons. I don't want us to escort them back to the ship, because I don't know if I got that much time left in me.
That's
do-
grim, sir.
That's real talk, sir.
Well, we got a job to do, and I'm going to get it done.
Sir, we can. You firearm. I can hold up here, the ATV. I can radio in. If y'all go inside, there's at least a handful of our friends that are inside, possibly. I mean, again, they kept us in twos in some of the rooms, and sometimes they took a few downstairs, and we didn't see them again. But if you, we'll hang out here. We'll call if there's any sign of them, but if there's any of our friends left, our squad mates, and I mean, I hope you can get them like you got us.
I moved.
Ripper, what are your thoughts?
I mean, if they can't drive nowhere, I'd take them back, but you might want me on, some locks, maybe some bombs.
Would be greatly
many-
appreciated.
And you said there's a Gatling gun on the ATV?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
How
have a
long would
weapon
it take?
if they stay in the ATV?
How long would it take to drive them back and then come back here? Like shifts, turns, wise?
I would say in terms of turns, it would probably take somewhere between 5 and 10 turns. So anywhere between 45 minutes to an hour and a half, depending on
Yeah.
conditions.
Which just gives everyone inside more time to prep after we
Yeah.
blew the side of the building.
You've already really
Mm-hmm.
given up the sign, the
Surprise.
surprise,
Yeah.
the slowdown pretty considerably. So it's just a question of what you want to do. Also, I should note that you blew a hole open and atmosphere is flooding into the place, and that prolonged exposure, like an immediate whiff, isn't going to kill you, but if you're exposed to it for 15 minutes or longer, this has got some toxicity to it, and it could potentially do horrible things to.
Killing Marines in
Human
there right
body.
now.
Yeah.
My recommendation would be to set Lopez up on the Gatling gun, and we get the job done.
Agreed.
Yes, sir. I
Let's
could
go.
do that.
Let's go inside.
One point of note. You said that you may not have that long, kind of. Thinking about this facility and seeing as how it is rather remote, I would wonder, and I would take, if I were a betting artificial person, then I would bet that there may be an auto dock here. Seeing as how they would need to be able to handle anything for their staff that would occur here.
You think that'd be in the factory or in the compound?
Why don't we ask
I'm
these
not,
two? They claim they've been in there.
I'm not an industrial engineer.
Lopez, you see any kind of medical facility?
No, sir. No, sir. They nabbed us outside. They RPG took out our driver, took out one of our officers, and a few of us managed to scramble out. But by the time we got our feet beneath us, already a few that were on us. Not much we can do at that point.
Well, Abbott, how about we compromise here? Let's take care of this here factory. And if we see an auto dock, we'll, call a timeout.
I'm really stating to keep an eye out for one.
All right.
Did you guys completely search the compound already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Okay,
the
alright.
main compound, yeah.
Yeah.
They have not looked at the refinery area, which from the flyover had damage done to it, or the radio tower. But they have looked through the compound.
Now, do you reckon there'd be a med bay in a factory?
Well, you got to figure if most injuries are going to happen to
In a
people
factory.
like you and I, they're going to happen in a factory.
Particularly in a place that is this remote. I would not say so on Earth.
So the options are we spend the 5 to 10 shifts to bring them back and come back.
Or send them back in our gyrocopter
Or leave
Uh,
them here and let
there's
them
Marines-
man the ATV while you
and
all go
shoot us
inside.
in the back.
Yeah, and if there's men in there that don't have suits on like these do, the other Marines could be suffocating if we take too long. I
Yeah.
would
So sending
humbly
them
like
back in
to
the
submit.
gyrocopter is better because that doesn't have weapons on it. Is that what you're saying, Matt?
But then we're down a vehicle. Then is the problem too. If we need.
I
to
feel
make
like
a
we're
hasty-
standing here debating when time's of the essence.
Let's go to
agree
the
with you,
tower.
Koenig, are you gonna go in there, stub a toe, and just off yourself?
That's a good chance. So let's see if it happens. Lopez, keep on that gun. Let's get moving.
All
There you
right.
go.
I don't like those eyes there, Jeff.
I don't like this plan.
Take
sir.
it
I'm gonna take a
picture of,
picture of this roll I just did. I'll
our
show it to y'all
doom.
later.
Oh Lord.
Okay.
This is on
Sixes.
All right.
Sixes you got there.
too many. We took too long. Let's get moving.
Yeah,
Okay.
looking at
Oh,
that
how many
roll with
people got
hunger.
off?
Okay. So you leave them here?
Yeah.
Like that's the plan? They're here?
That's the
Okay.
plan.
So you all climb out of the ATV. You all suddenly hear it click, click, and you look up and you can see the Gatling gun just starts to move a little bit. And then Lopez gives you all a thumbs up as you all enter the facility. I'll go ahead and put you on a
You
map.
see there? You see there? You're worried about nothing.
Listen, I'm not going to say that,
Still remains to be seen.
I was
that
gonna
few
give him my
seconds of
pistol.
gun moving. Yeah, I'm glad I wore my brown pants today.
I was going to give him my pistol, but that Gatling better be good enough for what we're about to get ourselves into in here.
All right.
There's dance
so
music in this one.
I think everyone should be able to see if is that correct? Everyone good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me just kind of update in terms of the because you threw the pup in here, but like this sort of orangey ring around here is like a second. This is like the second level walkway.
Catwalk up above.
Yeah, it's like a catwalk, and that stairs goes down to a main level. Off to your left and to your right, you see that there are doors that look to go into rooms. The southern side of this catwalk is open, and when you look to the south, I didn't make the whole map, but it's basically an enormous factory, and there's just like heavy machinery as far as you can see as you're like looking south on the map. If you're looking down, it just continues and continues and continues for a couple hundred yards, as it's a fairly large facility. And so you have basically everything you need from the pup. On the right-hand side is, and a little bit further off screen, it's not on the map, is where the hangar bay would have been as well. But yeah, you notice these doors to the right and to the left. You notice staircase going down, and then if you just went south, you would go deep into like the heavy machinery, the assembly lines, that kind of stuff.
And the information from Lopez is that he thought that there were some individuals from their group on the lower
In
level.
the basements.
He said a couple of things. He said they kept people in like groups of twos, and then eventually like some people got taken apparently to like, and they saw people going down the stairs, and then they never saw them come back.
Did my pup map what's down there?
Your pup did not get into the factory sublevel for some reason.
Is it open? Like, are the stairs just wide open? There's no door or anything?
So from up here, you don't like from this level, from the second story level, you don't see any sub-level access from up here, but you do notice that a bunch of crates and things have been stacked up along the sides and the base of the staircase below you.
So we're on the catwalk on the second
You're
level?
on the catwalk on the
Okay.
second level. And that's where these doors go. These doors go into the
Gotcha.
second level.
Okay.
Okay.
It's hard to do like tiers and stuff,
Yeah.
like open
Yeah.
walkways and things.
Let's clear this catwalk.
Yeah. I would take a guess that they stacked them crates down there as cover.
I look around real quick to see if there's a fire escape plan or a map or something like that, because those are all over the
Okay.
place in factories.
And I'd like to just
Yeah.
do an observation roll to get a lay of the land, just kind of scope everything out for any
Okay.
out of place.
Abbott and Spuds both give me observation tests. Okay, you're fine. It's a little nerve-wracking because like just staring down that long factory with all these assembly lines, and you can see it functioning, is a little unnerving, Spuds. And you got it on the pup, but like it's just you hear that constant hum of like heavy machinery, and it's dark. Everything south of here off the screen is pitch black. Like there's no light whatsoever. And you look around and you do see that there is movement underneath the doorway to your to the screen left. So you saw like there's a light on underneath, like this little seam of light, and then there's like a shuffling as if someone's behind the door.
Okay. Let's kind of like hold a hand up and just like eyes and point everybody in that direction without making a sound. I don't want to announce it audibly.
I'd like to look around for any wiring, anything that looks out of place, possible traps,
Okay.
bomb-like things.
Go ahead and roll comm check or observation. Abbott, you look around and it looks like there was some kind of emergency exit layout, like on the northern wall in the corner here, but it got kind of demolished in the explosion of the window. Because I think you didn't pass, right? So like you don't see anything that's intact, but you do see that they're like on, like you do actually find like a partial, and it does again reference like a factory sublevel, but enough of it has been burnt off that you can't quite tell like where's the way down to the sublevel from here. Zoe, when you peek around for wires, traps, anything like that, it does from what you can tell, it does look like something's up with this left of screen door set of doors. There's some sort of extra wiring that seems to be kind of pulled out the sides here and there. You're not sure though if it's explosives or if it's like or if it's like damage from the explosion with one success. You're not 100% sure. But there
There's
does,
some,
it does kind of alarm you. Oops,
Some
didn't mean
weird
to-
wiring going on over there. I'm gonna have to get a closer look at it, see what's up.
All right, so let's
It's not my
just gonna
expertise,
motion
ma'am.
to just approach and watch.
Okay. Do you send Claymore over? He is the door kicker of the group.
Well, let's let Abbott do. Claymore, attend to Abbott. Abbott, you see what's going on over there.
Yes, sir.
Very well.
All right, move your tokens where you guys are going.
Perhaps with the way they were acting up above the planet, I should go by myself. After all, they did ignore me.
You already got blown up once.
Is that where
I
the
did-
shuffling was coming from too? Sorry, or
Shuffling is right over
Okay.
here. Like you saw again, like there's like it's like a door, like there's a line of light because if there's light on the other side, and you saw like a shadow move, like there was somebody on the other side of the door.
I believe I was collateral damage.
It's true. I mean, I hate to admit that he's right, but we did clarify that they were programmed not to attack other synths.
I
All
half
right.
expected you to say, "I'll show you collateral damage."
Abbott, see
Damn
what
it.
you can do with that door.
I love the bond you two are forming.
Okay, so what's going on here? I'm just a little confused because Zoe is the one that's like the Comtech one,
Mhm.
and then
Oh.
Claymore's the door kicker. But you're talking about Abbott going up. So just walk me through like what's happening here.
Barrett?
I think we just wanted to take a look at the wiring. So Ripper could
Yeah.
do that first, but kind of going in would be Abbott because they didn't attack him previously.
Okay.
That's what you want. I understand.
Okay. She already rolled on the Comtech, so like, or so it's like she's got as much information as she's basically gonna get for
Mhm.
the door, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Okay, then I guess we'll just kick the door in.
All right.
Okay.
Pulse rifle ready.
Agreed.
Abbott will
Okay.
step in.
All right.
I gotta like click on the door. Yep.
So
click.
I actually need you to roll it. What's it
I'm
called?
sorry.
You're gonna have no. It's okay. You can open it. Like, but you do need to roll a heavy machinery, as it does seem to be kind of like jury rigged in such a way that it's not opening easily. Like it's jammed. So go ahead and roll heavy machinery to just force it open. Yeah, 3 is well plenty. As you burst into the room and you come immediately face to face with one of the poly models. Again, the short-haired female version that you've seen multiple times. Let me zoom in a little bit here. And you look off to your left as well. I don't know why that's looking so terribly. And you can see that there's a second one. There's also scattered debris and stuff all over the place. Let me go ahead and change a setting. But the minute you open the door, like they're ready for you, and they both leap towards Abbott. Anybody who had a gun trained at the door and was ready for the door to get open, you can take a shot, but it's going into a very close area. Lots of like there's Abbott, there's the door, kind of close proximity. So I'm going to say everyone's going to take a -2 to their shot. But anybody who wants to shoot into the doorway, take a -2 as you shoot in there. Let me see if I can get the light a little better.
I don't know if where I put myself gives me reasonable eyesight, but
Looks like our tokens don't have vision.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say I
What's
don't think I
going
can
on?
see anything from where I was hanging back.
So weird.
I can see Abbott, and that's it.
I did
I
like the
cheated.
whole like thing where you don't even need.
okay. I'll do -2.
I don't have a clear shot, so I'm not taking it.
Weird. I can only see. It's not.
So
it's
strange.
not doing the
The shadows.
Yeah,
If
shadows
you-
properly.
Right click on your own token and go to settings. I just gave myself dim vision of 10, so that way it would just open up what I walk through.
Oh, nice.
Does that help at all?
It does. Yeah.
That right there? No, I mean like what I just did. I just tried to make it like visible for
Yeah, a
everybody.
little brighter.
All right.
All right. So -2, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 1 success.
Ah, humbug.
Oh, that helped. I can now
There
see
we go.
into that
Okay.
room.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so 2 of them immediately close in on Abbott as he steps in, but you guys all get your shots off. So just call him out. How'd we do?
1 success for Barrett.
What's the damage? Give me damage.
Sorry.
1
pulse
success would just be
rifle,
base
2
damage for the
damage.
rifle. Okay, so
2.
2. Spuds, you've got what's the base?
damage.
So base damage. So 4 damage.
4 damage total.
Okay. Claymore, what did you do as the door busted open? As Abbott burst through the
I
door?
should push. I got nothing.
Okay, man.
Shot and missed.
All right. Ripper, did you take a shot or anything?
I held my shot.
Okay. And Koenig.
I did not take a shot.
Okay. So I'll put all 6 of that damage on probably the 1-on-1, which is not enough to actually take it down, as they have 7 health, and this brings it down to 1. So the 2 of you, Spuds and Barrett, you managed to unload on the one that is just like literally about to tackle Abbott, as your guns fire, and they just, and you get that kind of T2, like all these little holes start popping up, these like white spongy holes as they kind of blow up in the face. Abbott, you're like covered now in the kind of the blood of an artificial person. And as this thing's charging at you, it looks like it's about to knock you over, Abbott, and it just stops for a second. And as it's like kind of twitching from like the damage that just took, you see it reach out with like its hands and just puts both of its hands on your cheeks, and they're dripping down with like synth blood, and they're just like, "Mother loves you." The other one, however, will launch itself through the door towards who's there. Towards, it looks probably Claymore, I suppose. We'll just kind of leap through the door at this point, and we'll try to scrape down. Did anybody who was holding their shot because of the doorway? One of them has just leapt out. So Koenig
I'll
and
take
Ripper.
that.
Yeah, you
I'll
two
take it.
can go ahead. All right, so that's 1 damage.
I got 3.
And then 3 more damage. Okay, so again, does damage to it, but these are sturdy. These are fairly sturdy, and doesn't seem to do enough to take it down. And so it's gonna go ahead and get an attack off on Claymore. Then, as it leaps forward, Claymore, you can see that there's not like this doesn't have. You don't really see like guns or anything, but it does have what looks like a crude knife, kind of a wrapped together piece of some sort of sheet metal, and it's going to go ahead and just attack at you.
All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave that private. Let me put that public. That is a miss, which is a shame because I hit on the other one, but that's what I get.
Oh.
So maybe you've got your shield out, you deflect it or something, whatever, however you want to describe it, but it is ineffectual in its attack, and it's just like trying to hack like violently and crazed, like Koenig's ex-wife, just trying to hack away at it, and it just doesn't quite pierce it. I don't really feel like doing a full like initiative thing, so all of you can go. So I'm fine in whatever order you want. It's fine with me. So you've got one out here. Both of them have been damaged. One's out here on the walkway. One's inside with Abbott, and it's got its hands on Abbott's face and seems like locked in some kind of trance-like vision.
Sorry,
Somebody
I didn't
stop
mean
that
to-
mother talk.
Aim and take fire at this one out here that we can see.
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
aim and take fire. I'm gonna go ahead and push as well.
Okay.
What is
Five damage total for me.
So the one outside, yeah, that's gonna
Yeah.
break it. Yeah, that's definitely gonna break it. So
Oh, yeah.
Three
we'll do it one
damage.
at a time. So the first one, Spuds, you take its head. Its head just gets completely ripped around, and it's kind of hanging off to the side. And then Koenig, you unload into it as well, and so yours will make it do a secondary one. And you can see like its organs just blow out its back, and there's what looks like these tubes and these small sacs. They're starting to drip down and hang limply down, like kind of its ass and down towards the back of its knees, and it's just like it's some kind of zombie doing a melodramatic dance. Claymore, did you do anything to the one out here?
Not yet, but it looks like they've blown that thing to bits, and
Yeah.
I want to stop this stupid mother talk, so I'm gonna
Okay.
brain it. I don't want to shoot into the grappling going on.
Okay.
So I'll kind of bully forward and do that.
All right, so you're gonna move in towards Abbott to help
Yeah,
him.
and
Okay.
allegedly, God bless it. The thing that I have a million dice in, I never succeed.
Go do some surgery in your clutch. But
Give it
Yeah.
a push, man.
I'm gonna push it. One.
1 point of damage.
So many dice.
Strangely enough, that's actually enough to break it because it had 1 health left. So with the 1 point of damage, as it's
Nice.
holding on to its face, you stun it. I'm gonna rule that Abbott, you also take that 1 point of damage as the shock of electricity like courses through her, in through its hands into your face, and you start feeling the jolt of electricity as well.
Oh no.
And you can see its legs just give out, and it collapses in a heap on the ground.
How do I roll injury?
I can roll it for you.
Okay.
Your arm just sort of goes numb, like one of your arms. I got an arm tonight.
You got
just
an
goes
arm.
You got
goes
an arm.
limp. It doesn't fall off. It's just malfunctioning and limp. That's all. So this one, its legs just don't seem to be functioning. So, I mean, like these things can be kind of annoying. Do you all just take turns like bashing these things until they're no longer functioning? Okay,
Yes.
so we'll say that. Let me just ban this person who wants us to be famous. Okay, so you look around in this room. Abbott and Claymore, anybody else who wants to go inside, you can if you look around, your observations are going to be high enough, and we're pretty late, so I'll just give it to you. You notice that there are doors that seem to be hidden behind what looks like this stack of debris. Like there's all these barrels and closets, and there's like these crates and things like that. But you do notice. Let me go ahead and get rid of it. You do notice that there's these doors, and as you kind of peel and pull away some of the debris, you notice that the doors actually will open. When you look inside, each one of them, you see a body laying on the ground in each single one, all of them dressed in marine gear.
I'll help Barrett collect tags.
Vital signs? Whoa, are they dead?
They looked to have suffered some kind of suffocation. Their throats are kind of swollen, their tongues are swollen and stuck in their mouths, their eyes are bleeding,
We did this.
and they are very
Yeah.
warm, as if this has just happened recently.
That's my fault. I'll take that one.
Oh no.
Sorry, guys. I rolled 4 6s. I rolled 4d6 to see, to see how many of them, because there's actually should be a fourth in one of them, but I forgot to put it up there, to see how many of them go, and I rolled 4d6s, and so all of them are gone. That's what I took a picture of.
Oh goodness. Okay, so what else is in there?
No, it really just looks like these have been sort of like prison cells. Yeah, they reek
okay.
terribly. There's food on the ground, like vending machine wrappers and things like that. Broken, kind of broken pieces of gear. They all look beat up as well. Like and some of them have like fresh like burn marks and things as well. As if
Any
they've
names? I'm sorry.
yeah. No problem. But yeah, you go through. There's a Wilson. There's a Hendricks. There is a Keller and a Marley. And you can tell as you're kind of peeling away their clothing, like they're Marines. It looks like they're Marines from the Asteria.
Okay, so we started with the count of 16. 2 of them are outside. 4 of them are in here.
The
You found-
bodies
yeah.
we found. Yeah.
Claymore, it is fortunate that you did not try that maneuver with a live person.
Point duly noted.
I'm glad that we can learn things together.
So there's a door on the other side of the catwalk as well, right? There's a door to the right side.
Yeah, and so
Yes.
while you're out here, Spuds, go ahead and roll observation, because you're still out here. It looks like, or someone's still
I'm
out
standing
here.
I'm standing at the door. Jen's out there, but I'm standing at the
Okay.
door.
Both of you, both Ripper and Spuds, roll observation.
Oh, Twitch. And everybody in the rooms gets a stress.
So, as Spuds maybe is getting a little impatient, or maybe there's now 4 dead Marines in here that are dead. I mean, by and large, from blowing the window open and then the indecision and how long it took you to come in, probably could have been rescued. And as you mess around with the bodies, blood does come from them, and you're confident these were human beings. You notice that down below the staircase, there is, similar to what's happened here, looks to be a fairly large set of double doors. And on the wall beneath the walkway, there is a little sign that shows stairs down subfloor. This is what Ripper can see from right here as she's looking kind of in the direction of the staircase to her north, to the map north. You also hear, like, sort of like as you're standing there, the sounds of like the machinery suddenly come to a stop. Like everything in the factory just halts, and there's like a grinding of metal on metal, like a high-pitched squeal. Everything just suddenly shuts down, and it becomes eerily quiet. There's nothing going on. You look down from where you're standing, Ripper, and you can see that there's a handful of like gear. Let me shift the map slightly so people can see it. But you notice, Ripper, right below you, there are all sorts of these different kind of specialty gear, and you start to recognize the structure of the machines, and it looks like similar to the things that you saw getting destroyed and put in the pit, like these kind of specialty 3D printing devices.
Hey, there's some 3D printers down here, and there's some double doors over there by the stairway down. I think we need to start hustling.
Agreed.
So what does that mean?
So there's also a door over here, right? At the
There
level
is.
that we're at that we have not cleared.
Yes.
All right. I want to get that cleared first.
Okay. Just because we're at the end, you head over in there. The doors aren't broken down, but what looks to be like a locker room and showers and things like that, where people who probably once worked at the factory would go. There's also kind of a lounge with the TV and vending machines and things as you explore and move about a bit.
Okay. So there's no one in here, no threats or anything.
No, you don't notice anything inside there at all. Nothing was blocked. Yeah.
Ripper's gonna go to the double doors you pointed out.
Okay. Yeah, you go to the double doors, and like they're kind of hidden. You have to move some crates out. You notice that like there's like scrapes on the ground, as if this is like kind of recently has been done. It's like this is just sort of stacked up here. And yeah, you open the door and you listen down, and like there's a dark hallway, like a staircase that goes down, disappears around a corner down a second like half flight. There's a flickering red emergency light, like, and that's the only light that's kind of flickering down there. And you hear like sort of a vague sounds of machinery humming from below.
All right. Well, gesture everyone to follow to the double doors.
Okay. All right. So you guys all get over towards that staircase. You work your way down, and we'll do the factory subfloor next time, as we're at time for this week. So we'll go ahead and call it there. All right. So that was fun. You guys rescued some people. Look at that.
We
The ratio of
more than
rescue
we-
to kill is
yeah.
in the wrong direction.
It's a shame.
yeah.
That's a shame. Really is. It really is.
The
But yeah, so
suspicion of these two, hopefully unwarranted.
well, they have an ATV now with a Gatling gun, so they can do whatever they want now. Gonna go pirating off in space now in this thing.
Ooh.
Let's do a round table. Let's figure out where everyone is this week, what everyone's got going on. Chuck, what are the Defenders doing this week?
Yeah, so if you tune in Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Central, we're rocking out our second episode of one of our new Pathfinder games. You can catch Jeff over there and Jeremy. It's going to be great. This Thursday night, 9 Central, we're doing Watercolors and Warriors, our 5th Ed Ghibli-inspired game, where we're going to open it up with the party having to fight a frog behemoth. It's going to be great. This Friday, we're going to do 3-2-1 action. We're going to be doing a Rocket to Russia right there. In celebration of it being Friday the 13th, we're going to go like slasher movie, like Jason ripoff, where we're at Crystal Lake, but we're doing it the other ways. The players are playing the killers who have to get rid of all the teens. It's going to be wonderful. Then Saturday at 1, Forbidden Lands, and there's going to be an Adam and a Jen and a Jeff and a Melissa. Yeah, that's what we got.
Awesome. Jen.
Hey, everybody, tomorrow night we will be doing a double stream on Pixel Prowler, which is my Twitch channel. We will be doing Vermintide at 6:30 p.m. Central, and then we will be continuing The Raft at 9 p.m. Central, and of course, Saturday, we'll be joining DOK.
Have you played the Back for Blood beta?
Yes, we did.
Yeah. I played it on
I
Thursday.
enjoyed it.
Did you?
Very much,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm waiting.
Very excited. Very excited. Brought back so many memories. Oh god.
New
Mhm.
Left 4
Can't
Dead.
wait. Adam.
Yeah. Let's go with let's just go with what we had the first time at the beginning of the episode. New ancestry that we created for Zweihander RPG. It's called the Cambion. And if you wanted to play somebody who was created by one of the Princes of Chaos, then you can go ahead and check it out. So that's pretty much what I got.
Awesome. Matt.
Tomorrow night, Garblight Games, Masks and Arlathotep, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thursday, Blades? Question mark. And Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on Free League, more Alien.
Awesome. Jeremy.
Black Blizzard on Kickstarter. Fun little independent comic. Check it out.
Yeah. As for Melissa and I, we're back to Impossible Landscapes, Delta Green on Friday, so come check that out. Saturday, well after our Forbidden Lands game with Chuck, we're going to be playing Worlds Without Number on our own channel. Next Monday, we'll be back to Ultraviolet Grasslands for the first proper travel session, so very excited about that. And then we'll be back to Alien in 2 weeks, so that should be fun. I think I'll go ahead and put us on the end screen. We're gonna raid someone, so hang tight, follow the raid, make us look good, and we'll see you next time. So, bye bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.